I'm so happy to be here today. It was last minute, but it's really a gift to be able to come and share with all of you. Share what it was like to represent Canada all over the globe. For me, it was a 22-year span over 6 different Olympic Games, 2 different sports, 2 different seasons, and 6 different Olympic medals. There was a lot of joy that I was able to share over those years and decades in sport. But what I learned was the most important thing was not just sharing the joy, but sharing the struggle as well. So today I want to share with you a little bit about where I come from, a little bit about what I've done, but most importantly, what inspired me along the way. I want to talk to you about inspired performance. Because when you can grasp that idea and you can let inspiration feed you and find it in sometimes the most unobvious places, you can truly do anything. And I hope that my stories show you what the possibilities and potential of the human spirit is. So when I look at that video, the last time I actually even speed skated back in 2010 in Vancouver in our home Olympic Games, I see that and those images of me up there, and I can still hardly believe that I came to do that I came to be that. Because when I see that person, and I even see myself in my life right now, I always think back to where I came from. By the time I was 16 years old, I wasn't even going to school anymore. You see, I always had all of the things, all of the qualities we talk about making a champion, what makes a champion, the tenacity, the abundance of energy, the focus and determination. I always had these things. And much to my mother's horror, I channeled them into these delinquent places. And I always had teachers telling me, if only you could find something to focus on and channel this into, you can do anything. But I was making all the wrong choices. And we talk about leadership in business. I had all the qualities of being a leader that I was able to channel into sport when I found it. But as a young person, I channeled those leadership qualities into organization of parties in downtown stairwells in Winnipeg, and back alley street parties and things like that, all sorts of trouble, things that I'm really not proud of today, but I have to talk about because I have to explain where I came from, and I want to tell you now how that all changed one afternoon when I saw something that absolutely changed my life. It shifted the direction of my life, and I can honestly say today, it saved my life. And that thing, it was speed skating. I was 16 years old, getting into all that trouble that I just talked about. Sitting in my mom's living room in Winnipeg, flipping through the channels, planning what party I was going to go to that night with my friends and what kind of trouble we were going to get into. And I was flipping through those channels, bored out of my skull, wondering what I was going to do. And the TV came upon this movement, this motion, these athletes gliding on ice. I had been a hockey player, a ringette player, but I had never seen long track speed skating. And when I saw it that day, I stopped flipping through those channels. And I watched, and I learned, and I listened to not just the stories of the athletes and that beautiful movement I was watching and so captivated by, but I learned about a great man, a man who was a defending Olympic champion. This guy from Quebec who skated circles for Canada, and his name was Gaetan Boucher. I learned about the Olympic movement and how, almost 100 years ago, before 1988, countries, they had this idea, the modern Olympics, of countries laying down their arms and fighting it out on the equal battlefields of sport and play. And I just thought, this Olympic thing is awesome. I had grown up doing community sports, so being from inner city Winnipeg, the Olympics were not on my radar. But the more I learned and the more I watched, and then Gaetan finally got to the line, I learned that he wasn't at his best and he had no chance to win. But what Gaetan did that day is the moment he got to the starting line with the maple leaf on his back, he became larger than life. I saw this fire and determination in his eyes that I had never seen before from anybody. I sat at the edge of my seat and watched him start his race and go out on world record pace and then blow up spectacularly, barely finishing in the top 10. I watched Gaetan fail miserably as the announcers and commentators said, but I watched a man who gave himself to something. And that desire and that commitment and that want that I saw in him is what changed my life. I saw Gaetan do that, and I knew I wanted the same for me. I knew I wanted to skate one day for Canada. I not only knew I was going to do it, I knew I had to do it. And that day, my life changed.